Hi. Hello from way too hot Claire Creative Office. I just checked my weather app and it says it's 1,000,000 degrees today. I find that quite surprising, but it's really warm. Don't swear. It's really warm here today, so excuse me for my sweaty glow. So some of you may know I do like a mastermind here in the south of France, in Montpellier, and the last session we had, we talked about planning time off, which is a subject that's kind of pertinent at the moment as we kind of come up to school holidays, summer holidays, all that kind of thing. So we talked about that at our last mastermind, and I thought, why not share the insights with you guys? So, where are my notes? Very well organized, and lipstick on my teeth. So when we work for ourselves or when we're building a business, it can be very hard to let go. It can be very hard to take time off, to plan time off and actually take it. So I don't work in August because my two children are at home and I'm planning holidays with my family, and I actually don't have a choice but to take time off in August. So at the moment, I'm planning a lot of stuff so that my business is kind of still rolling along while I'm gone and while I'm not at my desk taking emails and things. So the first thing that we talked about during our mastermind was finding it hard to not check in on your emails or not check in on, well, whatever your business is. I mean, mine's mostly based around emails. It's hard not to be checking all the time, because when you're building something, it's so intense and you're working on it all day, every day, that it's hard to just not check in with your emails all the time. So the first thing we talked about was batching email, which is something that you can do during the year as well. I mean, for example, I try to check my emails only 2 or 3 times a day, and then the rest of the time I'm either in consultations or doing work or doing promotional work. So by batching things, it means you're not dipping in and out all the time and breaking your workflow. And that's true when you're on holidays as well. So you're just on holidays and maybe you check emails once a day so that your mind actually does have that break of being on holidays. Another thing is like trusting somebody with your business while you're gone. So if you have an actual retail space or a bricks and mortar store or a consultation service or whatever your business might be, is there somebody that you can say, okay, you're in charge while I'm gone? So it's not always easy to do that either, because you're either handing over your business to somebody who could potentially be a competitor, or finding the right person to represent your brand, your company. So I have a couple of people around me that I really trust, and that's been based over a couple of years of trusting them with projects and collaborations. So while I'm gone, I can just send people to them, or just kind of hand over to those guys completely. So one, batching, checking in with your business so that you actually do get to take a break. 2, is there somebody you can actually find to take over your role while you're gone? The other thing about taking time off is making sure that you actually finish all the stuff that you need to do before you go, so you can properly relax. So if you leave something half done and people are trying to get back to you about it, and you know that there's the guilt there that you didn't deliver the thing that you said you're going to do, in our mastermind session, we talked about doing a final sprint. So that means looking at all the things that you have to do and doing like one big push of work and the end point is that you get to have a proper break. So like working quite intensively before you take a break. So that's another thing that it can come up when you're planning time off. And then the other stuff is, if you are totally working on your own and there's nobody as your backup, you tell people that you're off. So you're saying, and it's okay to tell people that you're not available, because you are a human being and you do need holidays. So something that I'm putting in place at the minute is some automations. So like in August, when I'm off, there will be an autoresponder on my email saying, I'll be back in September. If you need something urgently, I'll try to get back to you and stuff like that. But it's an autoresponder, so people aren't expecting you to reply straight away. So that's the first thing to do when you're going on holidays, to put a responder so that when somebody emails you, they get an email right back saying, I'm on holidays and I'll be back. I'll check my emails once a day and I'll be back whenever. So most people do that actually by default, and you can do that very easily in Gmail. Another automation thing that is less obvious is maybe with subscriptions to a newsletter, or within your email responder you send people to a place where they can get articles from you, advice and things like that without you actually being there. So within MailChimp you can set this up quite easily. It's actually quite new in the free version of MailChimp that you can do automations. It takes a little bit of figuring out, but it's a really powerful tool, which means when somebody subscribes or opts into something on your website or via some of your social media channels, you can set it up so that they get emails from you maybe once a week or a couple of emails just while you're gone, so that they don't forget about you, and you know, you're warming them up to your kind of content or your approach to business or whatever your content might be. So that's an automation that you can set up within the free version of MailChimp, and this is something that I'm working on at the moment for myself. And other things that some of the other things that we talked about is social media scheduling. Now, I don't do so much social media scheduling because I prefer to post and do all that kind of stuff while I'm actually there, so I'm not spending like half a day planning the whole month ahead. It works very well, but it's just not something that I do personally for my business. But it is quite powerful as well. So you can use tools like Buffer or Hootsuite, or like there's a bunch of tools out there that you can use like for free for the basic version, and you can schedule tweets for Twitter, posts for Facebook. There's an application called Later.com. You can use your computer to schedule Instagram posts. It still goes through your phone, but it's all put together in advance so that you're not actually sitting there doing it at the time. So that's social media scheduling, which I don't do so much of, but it actually does work quite well. I just I actually prefer to be present on social media. As you can see, I'm here right now. So I hope that's helpful. If you wanted help with setting up automations with MailChimp, I do that a lot, and I help people to do that quite often, to set up automations, and even just to set up their MailChimp accounts. So I think that's it. Plan to let go and let go. If you need to check in, plan when you're going to check in so that you're not checking in all the time. If you can get somebody to be your backup while you're gone, find somebody you trust, and you know, building trust takes time. You can set up automations, autoresponders, you can do social media scheduling, and the most important thing for me is to make sure that everything is finished before you go. So not leaving any hanging threads while you're off trying to relax. So that's it. If you need more advice and insights from me, you can go to clairecreative.com. That's my website, and there are a few blog posts in there. Okay, thanks guys. Have a great day. I'm going to just throw some cold water on my head. Bye.